Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Father Aaron Leach, and welcome to our very first patron-sponsored video. Now, our Patreon account is due to go live on February 1st, so most of you are probably watching this on or after that date. However, as I'm filming, we've got about a week and a half to go before that time. And with the page already being live, I just wanted to take just a moment to give a shout out and a huge thanks to those patrons who have come in early and actually signed up for the account and made their first payments here in January, when there's really no content to purchase in January. So that really shows that you're behind this project, and it really gave us encouragement to keep moving forward and get all this put together. So again, thank you very much. And by the time this video is live to the world, hopefully there'll be a lot more patrons and even more and more joining us as our family grows over time. Now, for the past several years, many of you have actually asked me if I would be willing to record myself performing one of the candle offering rituals that we do for all of you, for our clients. And I thought that would actually make a very good first video for the patron-sponsored material. So I spent a little bit of time trying to decide what planet would be best, which altar I should go to in the house. Just for those of you who don't know, we have various altars throughout the house, but the primary ones are the 7 planetary Archangel altars. So whenever we have need of something or a client has need of something, we'll go to the altar of the planet that governs the request being made. So for money issues, we might go to our Jupiter altar, where the Archangel Samael and also Iophiel, they both share an altar in our Jupiter space. We have the Archangel Anael on our Venus altar, the Archangel Cassiel on our Saturn altar, Michael, Gabriel, Samael is on the Mars altar, and here we have our Mercury altar, which has both the Archangel Raphael and the Egyptian deity Thoth, and that's for reasons I'll make clear in a moment. But I had to decide on this altar, the Mercury altar, for the first demonstration, because Mercury really is the kind of the center point of the Solomonic tradition. It's the go-to planet for everything. Mercury governs magic. It governs all languages, all symbols. So it governs all conjurations and invocations, divination, spirit communications, seals, sigils, talismans. You name it, if it has to do with magic, it probably falls under the heading of Mercury. So this is why when you're reading texts like the Key of Solomon, you will see it direct you to work on the day and hour of Mercury more often than anything else. So this is the go-to. Another thing that's important about Mercury, too, is that he is the road opener. He opens the gates between here and the other world, and he acts as the intermediary between you and the spirits or angels you may be trying to talk to. So even anytime we do a divination, this is where I come and I get this altar opened, and then I will go and do the divination so that I'll have an open line of communication. Let me see, quick explanation of the altar itself. You'll notice the backdrop behind these icons here, and also the cloth that's on the tabletop down here. They are multicolored. They include all 7 colors of the rainbow. Today, this would be called mottled. In older texts, you'll see it referred to as pied, like the Pied Piper. It just means a mixture of many colors. That is the traditional color of Mercury. Now, in more modern systems, you'll see the color orange, just like this candle, listed as the color of Mercury. And that's also acceptable because the 7 colors of the rainbow represent the 7 planets, and out of those colors, orange is the one that's associated with Mercury. But in general, because of alchemical influence, where Mercury is the soul of any physical substance. You know, when you're extracting medicines out of plants or you're working with metals, you're always attempting to isolate and extract the mercury. That's the essence of its spiritual existence, really. So Mercury is always the goal, and therefore Mercury in the Solomonic system has the combination of all 7 planetary colors. It's just everything. It's kind of your one-stop shop. Even if you have a problem that you can't figure out which planet would govern it, if you're unsure, then you can always go to Mercury and either get your result from Mercury or at least have Mercury direct you to which angel or spirit would actually be in charge of your problem. So continuing on with the altar here, like I said, Mercury governs all writing, all communication, all symbols. So we have our consecrated pin here. This lives on this altar. Our tarot decks live here. All of our ingredients and tools that we use to make our magical inks. And under the altar, there's a case containing consecrated paintbrushes and drawing instruments and rulers, and it's anything to do with artwork associated with magic. So these are the tools we use to make talismans and such. Another thing about Mercury is that the god Mercury and the god Hermes were often equated in classical sources, and so this makes Mercury the ruler of Hermetic magic. So outside of the Solomonic material, anything we do with the Golden Dawn pretty much centers here. And I don't mean all of our rituals. We have a ritual space for Golden Dawn rituals, but we keep our tools, our adept tools here for our Golden Dawn work. There's various pictures and symbols to do with the Golden Dawn here. So all of these things, all of these tools that I'm describing and objects that we use in our other work, this all belongs to Raphael because he governs those things. In fact, this is also where I even keep the Liber Angelos, the Book of Angels. So yeah, all of this is his, and when we use them, we're just borrowing them. We're allowing him to be behind what we do in this regard. So that's basically what's on and under the altar. From here, I guess I'll go into the actual candle offering ritual. It'll involve opening the altar first, and then once that's open, I will do the candle spell. Now, of course, normally I'm doing this for a person, like a client or a business or what have you. So I would inscribe the name of that person or business in the candle. But of course, I'm not going to do an offering for a client in a video. So this is, while I really am going to be opening this and waking Raphael up. In fact, I'll probably be doing some work after this video. But the candle itself will just be a thanksgiving to him. I'm not actually doing this for a client tonight. Let me see. The only other thing, there is one thing I can't show you, and that is my work in my Abramelin oratory. I don't do any other magic at any of these altars or in my main working space without first going into my altar and invoking my holy guardian angel. So that I did all that before I even started filming. So that's already done. And I'm just going to show you what I do here at the altar. Now, the first thing, especially in the Solomonic tradition, but in most magical traditions, light, fire, is very central and very important. And we are taught that no consecration can take place without the presence of fire. So the very first thing you want to do when you come up to the altar is get your fires lit and exorcised. And honestly, this part is really kind of a little miniature ritual unto itself. So you don't want to just do this real quickly and get it over with. This is your preliminary invocation. So what we do is we use these tea lights here. And we have oils for each of our angels and deities. So I'm going to anoint the candle and Thoth with his oil. And I'm going to just begin with Raphael's candle. I'll anoint him at a different point. Now I just put 8 drops of oil on Raphael's candle because 8 is the sacred number of Mercury. So I try to do most things that I do with them in sets of 8. All right. Oh, and also, before I go any further, I should make a note that you've probably noticed I'm not wearing my robe. I'm just in my street clothes. The reason for that is because these altars are established. We perform rituals with these statues to actually enliven them, to actually call the angel down into it, and it makes it his home. So he can stop in here into this statue anytime he wants and see what we're doing. Or you can think of it in a more practical sense that rather than the greater archangel coming in every once in a while, there's actually a small spark of Raphael that lives here and Thoth that lives here. And they're here all the time. So with that being the case, and we've already performed the full rituals, which, by the way, I write those rituals up and I've put them on my blog. So if you haven't seen them, I'll put a link in the description. You can head right on over there and see those. But these are enlivened, so there is no need for as much ceremony and as much ritual purity and as much meticulous attention to detail when these are now just members of the family. They live here. They're here every day, and we work with them almost every day. There's hardly a day goes by that I'm not opening one of the 7 Archangel altars, and of course my Guardian Angel altar. So there is a little bit less formality, and I don't really bother with putting on robes to work with these. So I'm just wearing my favorite Ghostbusters t-shirt. Thanks, Jim. And okay, so let's go on, like I said, with our candle lighting and actually get this started. So first, now this novena jar is one that we used in one of the invocation rituals I described, or I should say that I mentioned. And it's already been burned. If you guys are purchasing these from Doc Solomon's, or if you get really beautiful novena candles from other sources, a really good idea that you can use to keep using those jars is to fill them with something and then use tea lights that you can just drop in them like I just did. What I do for the Archangel altars, each of the 7 archangels is associated with a quadrant around the house, and I actually went to that quadrant for Raphael. It was northeast. Went to that quadrant of my property, to the boundary, and from that quadrant I got dirt and put into this candle. And it's the same for each of the angels. They all have dirt from their quadrant. So this kind of further connects their altar to the land that we're on. So that's what the candle in there is sitting on. Okay. Open the Liber Angelos. This, by the way, you might like to get a look at this, is my Book of Angels. And what it contains are all the prayers and instructions for the various invocations that I'll do. This is the page for Mercury. Trying to get a good angle here on the camera so you can see. This page here has sigils and information and correspondences concerning Raphael, and this page has the Heptameron invocation that our particular angels asked us to use in the openings of their altars. Okay, so beginning right with our exorcism of the fire. Just in case I need to check the text. I exorcise thee, creatures of fire, in the name of the sovereign and eternal Lord, and by his ineffable name, which is Elohim Zabaoth, that thou will enlighten the hearts of all who shall approach this altar, and all whose names shall be spoken here, so that the spirits and angels of Mercury will move with swiftness to bring knowledge and wisdom, learning, safety and travel, and then most of all, they may bring healing in their wings. Through him, who hath created all things. Amen. I'm going to put a little bit of this oil of Raphael on the coal. By the way, all of these oils are from Lori Romano at Anubian Creations, and are the angels that we work with absolutely love these oils. So you'll see these bottles on all of our altars. I exorcise thee, O creature of fire, by he who hath created all things, that thou cast out from thee all spirits of the world of phantasm, that they may be unable to harm or deceive in any way, through the Most High, Creator of all. Amen. Mercury incense, may thou be blessed by he in whose name ye are burned. Bless, O Lord, all powerful and all merciful, this creature of fire, so that being blessed by thee, it may be for the honor and the glory of thy most eternal name. Let it work no evil or hindrance unto those who use it. To thee, most eternal and almighty Lord, and through thine ineffable name. Amen. Now, as I said earlier, I already anointed Thoth's statue, just because it's easier to do in the beginning. But this is the point in the process where you would do the anointings. First yourself. And the angel. I like to get their wings and their head. I'll put a cross on their chest. And for some reason, they've never explained to me why, but they all seem to like having their feet anointed with the oil as well. And there's references to anointing of the feet in the Bible, so it does have some biblical authority. Or I should say biblical precedent. I conjure and call upon you, Raphael and Thoth, strong and holy angels, good and powerful in a strong name of fear and praise. Yah, Adonai, Elohim, Shaddai, 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 Ehyeh, 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 Asami, Asami. And in the name Adonai, the God of Israel, who hath made the two great lights, and distinguished day from night for the benefit of his creatures, and by the names of the discerning angels governing openly in the second heaven, before the great angel Tetra, strong and powerful, and by the name of his star, which is Mercury, and by the name of his seal, which is that of a powerful and honored God. And I call upon thee, Raphael, and upon thee, Thoth, and by the names above spoken, thou great angels who presidest over the fourth day, and by the holy name which is written in the front of Aaron, created the most high priest, and by the names of all the angels who are constant in the grace of the Christos, and by the name and place of Amaluim, that you assist me in my labors, and all of our clients in their labors, and fulfill all of our petitions according to our wills and desires in our causes and our businesses. And that is the opening of the altar. I will leave the book open throughout the rest of the working, and I'll close the book only at the end when we're done. So, at this point, the angels are awake, and you can begin to talk to them. Hello, Raphael. Hello, Thoth. And today, we're going to be making another candle offering, but this one will not be for a client. It will just be for, it's a Thanksgiving offering, and we ask that you will also continue to bring your blessings and your influence into our home. So with that in mind, like I said, I would usually write the name of my client on, but for this case, we'll just put the Leach family here. And you'll notice I'm using the consecrated pen to do that, but I don't actually engage the tip of the pen. I leave I just use the metal tip of it to inscribe into the wax. So Raphael, and thanks to you, and thanks to you, Thoth, as well, I anoint this candle that my family and home will be anointed with your blessings and your influence, with your knowledge and wisdom, with your travel, with your business sense, and that our new family through Patreon will grow, that everyone will receive benefit of your wisdom and your knowledge and your healing. And so, to that end, I also sprinkle you with ashes from your censer as a reminder of past blessings and prayers answered and the help that we give others. Likewise, do I sprinkle it with your consecrated incense that you will find as pleasing and attractive, and that you will argue in our favor in the divine court. Now the candle is dressed. When I light the candle, I always make sure that at that point in my praying, I say the name of the person who the candle is anointed to. So in this case, this prayer is spoken for the Leach family, as well as all of our patrons and all of our supporters. Thanks be unto Raphael and Thoth, and to the highest God, and to my holy guardian angel, for our success and well-being. Benedicta in nomine Patri et Filii, Benedicta in nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Now that is the basic ritual. At this point, the altar is open, the angels are awake, and they're hearing us. This is the point where I would very often sit and meditate in front of the altar, just commune with the angel. Now, if I'm working for a client, I would take these tarot cards down here, and I usually have a towel with me so I can get the oil and incense and ashes off before I touch the cards. But I would take those cards, shuffle them up, and I would tell Raphael, that if he has a message for the client, I'll be happy to convey it to them. And then I'll lay down 3 cards. The first card is just the answer. Whatever the petition was for, it's an answer to that petition. And the 2 flanking cards further explain what the central card means. So that is the service that we offer. Now, if you happen to take my Solomonic course, you'll notice at the end I give a candle spell for you to kind of get used to the idea of working with these altars. And it's very similar to this. It's also very similar to the instructions that I give in our spell kits that you can buy from Doc Saul's. So if you're looking for, an example of that kind of spell, then this video should serve as a very good instructional video for you. as well as if you want to take the spell kit and actually integrate it into an existing altar that you have, this is a perfect way to go about it. But I think that's about it. Like I said, I don't want to touch the tarot cards because of my hands right now, but I think I'm going to go get cleaned up, and while the altar is open here, I do have some tarot readings to do for clients, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I want to thank all you guys for subscribing, for being here to Patreon, but also those of you who are seeing this video later. If you're just seeing it on YouTube, I want to thank you for watching as well. You'll never have to pay for my content. I will always release this stuff. I'll release old material as new material is made for the Patreon sponsors. So if you are just watching through YouTube, you can still help by subscribing. You can ring that little spirit bell down there that'll tell you whenever new material is posted to the channel. And as for those of you who are Patreon sponsors, I'll see you on the account, and I'll let you know. In fact, I believe I'll put together my first poll and see if we can't get some ideas on what the next video should be about. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So that's about it, folks. Again, thank you to everybody. Thanks again to our early patrons and to everyone who's joined them since then. Thanks to you, Raphael, and to you, Thoth, for allowing me to make this demonstration with your altar. And that's it, brothers and sisters. Blessed be.